Hey guys, it's been a while. Um, came in with the music like I always do. That may very well be the last time that I get to do that. But so I wanted to make this response video to. Ow, God, hair had a knot in it. This I wanted to make this response video to Brandon Champion and everything that's been going on. So the last time that you guys saw me was against Dominic Spizak at All Hallows Eve. So at Hallows Eve, if you watched the whole event, you would know that at the end, well, it was our end. For lack of a better word, it was our end. But I'm sure, as you've seen uploaded on the channel, Spizak's still running his mouth, and now Austin Atmos has responded to him, and now Brandon has done this response video. So if you haven't watched Brandon's video, please go watch it. Or actually, all the videos, go watch it. But so this is gonna be a response to Brandon's video. So in Brandon's video, he talked about being co-owners with me and the stress of it, and situations that had happened where he had snapped on me and all that stuff. So I wanted to just address it. I literally just finished watching his video, but excuse me. So to Brandon, I just wanted to say that I don't got no hard feelings. I accept your apology. At the time, to be honest, you did snap on me, and you admitted it. So, but even at the time, was I upset? A little. What did it make me mad sometimes? A little bit, but it all was part of what came with being a co-owner, because, like you said, that was a very stressful thing, and it's a thing that the fans don't know about. It's a thing that some people on the roster honestly probably don't even know about, because they've never had to be in the position of being the co-owner and the responsibility of that and the stress of that and everything. And I'm not trying to take away from what everybody's done as wrestlers, because they've obviously done more than I have in that department. But so for the fans that don't know and everything, basically BWGP was really fucking stressful. It was very fucking stressful on me. It was extremely stressful on Brandon. Me and Brandon have had several conversations about this. We discussed bringing BWGP back, looking at the logistics of it, looking at if we truly wanted to or not, what each of us thought, how each of us was feeling. We took everything into consideration, and we just came to a mutual feeling and agreement that neither one of us want to bring this backyard brand back, and you've seen for the reasons that Brandon said in his video. But it is a really stressful thing to run a backyard brand, and it's something that I never thought was a thing. Watching ESW and all these other backyard brands, I've watched those, and I was like, oh, that's cool. I wish I could do that with my friends, or oh, that's cool. It looks like it's so much fun, but I never took into consideration, how all their owners and stuff must feel. The people who have to edit, and the people who have to record, the people who have to put the show together, organize the scheduling, get everybody there, and not even on top of that to deal with the roster itself and people being upset with one thing and upset about another thing. That's all things that I never had taken into consideration. It's things that I never thought about becoming owner. And I'm sure at first it wasn't something that Brandon had thought about either. Because we went into it thinking, we're just having a backyard brand with our friends. It's going to be fun, but we never thought that it was going to be stressful and that certain people would be mad about certain things. We never thought there would be all this stress with it, but there really is. So to give you all behind the scenes, I can tell you what everybody in BWGP did. So I'll start off with myself. So me, I recorded, at least as far as season 5 goes, almost every match except, of course, my own match. But I recorded almost every match. I commentated almost every match. Of course, I've edited every show. I have also played the GM character as well, which is it was a big character on the show. And I had to also film all the promos and just everything. But I wasn't the only one doing stuff, and I don't want to make it seem like, oh, it was all me. I did everything. No, that's not true at all. So with some of the editing stuff, Brandon did help me out, especially editing. God, the fucking match promos were hard to edit, man. Thank God Brandon helped me with that, because I used to be, and me and Brandon talked about this. I used to be in the mindset of when I would edit. Basically, I've always been the BWGP editor since we started filming it, and I used to be in the mindset of I wanted to do all the editing because I felt like since everybody else was wrestling and putting their bodies on the line and everything, I felt like because they were doing that, this needed to be what I did to contribute to BWGP, and that's just how I felt for a while. But it was really stressing me out, and I'm glad that. And I'm thankful that Brandon offered to help me out, because it would have been really fucking rough if he wouldn't have. And that's not to say that nobody else did anything, because like Brandon said, Brandon helped with editing promos and getting the shows up sometimes. Brandon also was the booker for the shows. He booked all the matches, storylines. He also organized the events, got everybody together, had to tell everybody plans. Like, that's why a lot of it was really stressful on him. And I did have that at one point in time too. In season 3 and a little bit of 4 or something like that, I was at that time booking the matches and stuff. And at the time, there was some backstage stuff going on where, I literally, I don't think it's down here right now. Actually, let me see. Yeah, it is right here. So I can literally show this to you. This book right here. This was around season 3 when I started booking the show. Yeah, so this might be backwards, but you can see BWGP plans. Here's the plans I wrote for Resurgence, Voltage, episode 3, more plans, episode 4, episode 5, All Out War, episode 6, episode 7, if you guys can see. And then I didn't continue writing it after that, because that was around the time that I wasn't being the booker anymore. But I literally wrote plans. Like, during that whole thing, I would jot down ideas, and you'll see stuff crossed out in those plans and stuff of I would write backup matches because certain people wouldn't show up, so we had to have plan Bs. So I was the booker at one point in time, and for whatever reason, some people, I'm not going to name names, but some people, basically what would happen was I would, text all the guys on the roster and tell them the plans and what I was thinking. Like, hey, I'm thinking of this idea for you for this match. And here's where I'm thinking we could take the storyline. What are your thoughts? What do you think? And all the feedback that I would get personally would be, oh, that's a great idea. I love it. Oh, I like that idea. Let's go with it. It would be responses like that. But it turned out that behind my back, people were, not going to name names, but people were saying that they hated my booking, that I made dumb decisions. And I remember finding out about that, and it really like made me mad, and I felt like I was backstabbed. So then around when that happened was when uh, we decided to have me and Brandon as co-owners. Because through season 1 and 2, that's when Brandon was running literally everything by himself with no help. And that's why season 2 was the end, because it stressed out Brandon really bad to where he had to end it because he couldn't do it himself. And then when I was the owner for the time that the single owner for the time that I was, that was really stressful on me. And so then we decided to have me and Brandon running it to try to eliminate the stress a little bit. Then things turned out how they turned out, but it was still stressful. Like I said, Brandon was doing the booking, the storylines, scheduling the events, making sure everybody can show up, coming up with plans, taking down people's ideas, all that. And I was handling, editing the shows, filming the matches, commentary, being the GM character, and all the other stuff. And like Brandon said, thankfully for season 5, we had Sonny J, thankfully, and I'm really glad we did do that tribute show to him, which, by the way, Sonny J is happy and healthy right now, which is really good, and I'm really, really thankful that he's okay. But, so, for those that didn't know, Sonny J was the one running the BWGP Instagram page, and he was posting all the highlights from the shows, and he was running the Facebook page, and he was, like Brandon said, paying to promote our shows on Facebook and stuff. And so I really have to thank Sonny J for that, because that was another thing I had to do for a little bit, and that's why the Instagram posts weren't consistent, because like at the time I had just felt like I was like, okay, I'm editing, doing this, and I'm like, well, fuck, then I got to do the Instagram highlights and this and that, and it was just like too much. So we decided to have Sonny J do that, and it did help out a lot. It took that stress off of both me and Brandon, and I do thank Sonny J for that, and I do thank Spizak, who was cameraman sometimes, who commentated a lot of matches with me. I thank Austin as well, who was on commentary a lot of the time. It really helps, and like commentating all those matches really can do something to your voice. I've especially had that after, marking the fuck out for the matches and shit, because some days we record a pay-per-view and like 2 shows the same day. And by the time you commentate all those matches, like sometimes your voice can like be fucked the next day. But I mean, I really got to thank the wrestlers for doing all that they've done, like recording like 3 shows a day so we have stuff to post for the next few weeks, and like putting their bodies on the line every time, and I respect them all for doing that, and I thank them all for doing that. But to get to the situation at hand, Brandon, I do accept your apology, but I wasn't the best co-owner either, because sometimes I did feel like I was selfish not letting anybody help me. But I did explain to you that I felt like I had to do that I felt like at the time I had to do that because I felt like that was the only thing I was contributing, and I felt like if I wasn't doing all that by myself, then I wasn't contributing much. But me and Brandon did talk about that. So basically, now where it stands, Spizak, who is still continuing to run his mouth, never ceases to amaze me. But I mean, I do have to show respect, because last time you see me, I was on the losing end to Dominic Spizak at All Hallows Eve, and I showed him respect for the match. I told him if he beat me, I would shake his hand, and I kept my promise. He beat me, so I shook the man's hand and showed my respect. And I have respect for any of the roster members that I've personally stepped in the ring with, or everybody in general for going in there and doing what they do. But now we get to season 6. This mystery of season 6 that some people on the roster in their head think that it's happening, or that like it's gonna be a possibility, and I'm just here to tell you, and Brandon said it in his video, season 6 is not going to happen. And I need everybody on the roster to understand this, because I feel like a lot of you guys, I mean, some of you might not have known, but like, I feel like some of you guys just think like, oh, we'll do BWGP and we'll just do the shows, and like, and you guys are just used to the shows being like, you wrestle and then the shows get put up, but like, you guys aren't the ones putting all the time and effort into doing all the editing and everything else that me, Brandon, and Sonny J had to do. And like, I feel like you guys don't really understand how difficult that can be sometimes, especially with all the issues that we've had with YouTube, with copyright and getting our videos taken down and editing software not working and this and that, which just added more stress onto everything. And like, I feel like some of the people on the roster don't appreciate the effort that goes into the final product, because yeah, you go out there, you do the main thing that you see in the videos, which is the wrestling. But I feel like some of you guys just expect us to go out there and do wrestling shows, and then you just expect the shows to be up at like ASAP. And that's just not how it is. And that's why All Hallows Eve took a while to get up, because there was a lot of editing that went into that show. There was match promos that had to be made, logos, transitions, everything. And that was the first show also where we used nameplates. So then I had to re-edit those over top of the file already, which took even longer. That on top of, myself working 5 days a week, that can take a while. And, our plan was to get All Hallows Eve up by Halloween, but just because of time, it just was not going to be possible. So unfortunately, the show came out in November, but it was still fall at least. But I'm not going to name names, but some of the people on the roster were not very appreciative, saying, is this show ever going to get up? Like, these are quotes I remember seeing from chats. Is this show ever going to get up? Oh, I guess the show's never going to be up, is it? Well, it's not up by Halloween, so I don't know when this thing is going to get up. Just to name a few quotes, and people being kind of ignorant about it, which really kind of just irritated me. Like I said, I'm not going to name names, but... And then, like, now the conversation has started where pretty much everybody besides me and Brandon want this thing to come back and want to do it again and this, and that. But then they're also kind of hypocritical, because, like, when we ended it at All Hallows Eve, everybody was all, oh, I'm done wrestling. Oh, I don't want to wrestle anymore. Oh, this, oh, that. And then, like, a month later, oh, I got one more match left in me. Oh, I'm not done yet. And then you got a Spizak. Oh, I still got my shot at the BWGP Championship. And fucking, it's like, it just, like, seeing that and hearing that, it's like, yeah, it's BWGP, it's the boys getting together, having fun, doing a wrestling show, but at the same time, it just makes, like, me personally, it makes me dread having to edit, because, like, and not that I don't like the editing, because, I feel like from season 2, where I started editing it, all the way up to season 5, I feel like I've improved a lot, and I have kind of honed the craft of editing. Yeah, there's improvements I can make, there's always room for improvements, but I feel like from season 2 until now, I've really stepped up the editing and the quality from what we once had to where we are now. And also, Brandon won't admit this himself, but Brandon is very good at editing. And Brandon, when he puts the time in and is in the zone and hones his craft, Brandon can really, really make some amazing shit. But when it comes to season 6, I honestly just don't want to do it. And I've talked to Brandon about this, and I've talked to the roster about this, that it, like, just... I just don't want to do it, because I'm like, dreading certain parts of it. And like Brandon said, I don't really want to do the editing anymore. And, if it did come back, yeah, I'd be willing to do the commentary, because I love the commentary. I feel like that's one of the, that's either what I do best or the second best. I'm not really sure, but I feel like I'm really good at the commentary, and I do like doing that. it's just like with me and Brandon not wanting to do this, then that just leaves it to where, well, who's gonna do the editing? Who's gonna do the booking? Who's gonna do this, and this? If me and Brandon aren't there to do it. And I don't mean to disrespect anybody on the roster, but I just don't feel like anybody else on this roster would be able to do this. I'm not saying that they can't. I'm just saying from the time of me and Brandon being owners and doing everything that we had done, I just feel like without us, I don't feel like the people on the roster would be capable of booking the events, coming up with the storylines, doing all the editing, everything. I can't see it. And I have to be honest, I can't see it. I really can't. And like I said, I don't mean to disrespect anybody. Like, I know Spizak can edit. If you've seen his Life of Dominic videos, Spizak can edit. And, Sonny J is good at what he does, running the Instagram stuff. And I feel like Sonny J could come up with some good ideas. But then as far as everybody else goes, like, I know how lazy certain people are, and I just don't think it would work. And also what Brandon said, which this is also a point that I said, like, how many times are we going to end this thing and then bring it back and then end it and then bring it back? This is 3 times now. We ended it with Season 2 at Final Resolution. Ended it at Season 4 with One Last Ride. Then ended it a 3rd time with All Hallows Eve. And it's like, how many times are we going to say it's over, it's done with? And then a couple months later, oh, BWGP's back. Like we didn't just have an ending. Like, to be honest, I didn't even think Season 5 was going to work. But you know what? We went out there and we probably put out the best season we've had, maybe, possibly. And I'm really glad that Sonny J and Baby J got to wrestle with us and showcase their talent and show what they can do, because they were a big addition to the roster that we needed, because without them, we would have been down 2 people, because we were already down Exodus Creed and Anthony Herring. So thankfully, Baby J and Sonny J was there to help out with that and to be roster members and wrestlers that we could utilize in storylines and everything. But as far as Season 6 goes, it's just a situation where, personally, Brandon and I don't want to do BWGP anymore. We've had several conversations. We both just look at it as, like, we don't want to do it anymore. And like Brandon said in his video, he's wanting to actually get legit pro wrestling training. And Brandon is, he doesn't want to destroy his body by continually wrestling in the backyard. And on top of that, neither one of us want to deal with the stress with it anymore. And like Brandon said, if the other people on the roster want to go start their own brand or whatever, then that's fine. But just as far as BWGP goes, unfortunately, it's just not coming back. And no matter how many promos Spizak does and whoever responds to him, I'm sorry to tell you, but it's not coming back. And like Brandon said, I don't mean to be the bearer of bad news, but it's just not going to happen. Legit. Besides Baby J, and that's not to say Baby J doesn't have his own stuff, but literally all of us have jobs. I work 5 days a week. Brandon works 5 to 6 days a week. Austin works 6 days a week. Tony works 2 jobs. Drew Stokes works. Spizak works like 6 days a week. Sonny J has a job. I'm not sure how much he works, but Sonny J has a job. Raven has 2 kids that he has to take care of. Baby J, I think he's injured right now, but Baby J has like football and wrestling stuff that he does for school. And Anthony Herring is in the military, so he's not coming back anytime soon. And Exodus Creed, well, that's just a whole nother situation on its own. But what I'm trying to say is we all are in our 20s now. We're all becoming adults. And I feel that it's time for us to end this. And I remember one thing Brandon told me a while ago. I don't remember exactly when. It was like a year or 2 ago. I remember Brandon telling me that, like, one of the things he didn't want was for us to be in our 20s still wrestling in the backyard, like us being adults and still wrestling in the backyard, and that's what it has turned into. I think it's fine, but now, like, I'm going to be 23. Tony's going to be 24. You know, Brandon's going to be 22. We're all becoming young adults, and we all got, you know, jobs and responsibilities and everything. And I just feel like it would be best to not have the stress of BWGP on top of all of that. I'm not saying, like, oh, I don't want to go have fun with my friends and do this backyard brand. It's not that at all. It's just, like, I just feel like this needs to be done. Like, I just personally feel like BWGP needs to just end. And, you know, we had a good ending. It's not like we just were doing shows and then cut it off and just had no wrap up, no legit ending. We've had legit endings, and our last one was a really good ending with the two best backyard wrestlers I've ever seen personally, the two best in BWGP, having a 3 stages of hell match and both losing and ending their careers. I can't think of a better way to end that, to end the brand. But then, of course, the talk started with, oh, I want one more match. Oh, I'm not done yet. And then Spizak doing his promos and everything, and it's just like I feel like BWGP will become like some movie franchises. You know how some movie franchises, when they start getting to like part 6, 7, 8, like they start getting really bad movies. Well, I feel like the longer we go with BWGP, it's gonna start getting like that, and also the longer we go and we keep ending it and coming back, that's going to discredit us, and it's also going to devalue the endings that we've had by bringing it back over and over, and it makes us honestly look kind of dumb. But, like, oh my god, this video is about to be 30 minutes, but that's all I wanted to say, really. And I just need people on this roster and the fans to understand that BWGP is very fucking stressful on me. It is very fucking stressful on Brandon, and neither one of us want that stress anymore. And the people on the roster need to understand that it's not just as simple as, oh, we'll bring BWGP back. It's not that simple, because if that were to happen, then I have to do everything that I did before. Brandon has to do everything he did before, and neither one of us want to do that. And I feel like without me and Brandon, BWGP it can't operate the same. It won't be anywhere near the same. And and I don't mean to disrespect anybody, because, you know, you all wrestled and everything. It's just like, without me and Brandon doing what we have done for BWGP, without us, I just feel like BWGP can't work. Like, because I feel like without us there, nobody's going to do the editing. Nobody's going to want to do the commentary. Nobody's going to be scheduling the events and planning out storylines and doing the booking and the promos and every fucking thing, and trying to also find a place to keep doing this backyard brand as well. There's a lot that go into it, and thankfully we were allowed to use Brandon's parents' house for that. And I'm very appreciative of that, and I thank his parents for that. But it's just, BWGP needs to be over with. Honestly, it sucks to say, but honestly, BWGP needs to be done and gone. Not gone like forget about it, but gone like, damn, that was a good ending. That was a good way for them to go out. And now let's see what they all do in their future endeavors, and like what they all can achieve after BWGP is how I feel about it. But yeah, so Brandon, I accept your apology, and BWGP needs to end. And I hope that the fans and the people on the roster will understand where me and Brandon are coming from and see that it needs to end. But thank you for watching. See ya.